Hot yoga modifications for Bikram and Barkan Yoga. What if you're not strong enough or inflexible enough to do the posture in the way it was intended? What if you're injured? What are you going to do then? These are modifications. We're going to head over to the studio with Senior Barkan Teacher Elena and show you the different modifications. This is part one, meaning we're going to cover the standing poses in this video. Hopefully, part two next week, we'll be doing the floor poses. As I get older, sometimes things happen. Just the other day, I got out of the car and I twisted my knee and my knee blew up like a balloon. So now I had to modify to around that particular injury. Now, do you do yoga when you're injured? Yes, sometimes, many times. Watch this video I recorded a while back showing you how to safely practice yoga while injured. But if you do have an injury, or once again, like I said before, if you're not strong or flexible and you're unable to get into the proper position, these are modifications you can use. But I got to preface it with this. Meanwhile, that's why I came up with the idea to do this video, because I was just injured. Some of the Bikram teachers may not like you to do it. They don't want you to doing these modifications, so you may want to check with them first. Tell them that I told you to do it.
Tell them Jimmy sent you.
They may not even care. They may not even know who I am.
I don't care if we did.
Now, where do these modifications come from? A lot of it came from my own 43+ year experience of teaching yoga and helping people find the proper position. And a lot of these modifications came from Bikram himself. He was a master at modifications. I've told the story before in my video. We were at a party once in Miami. He was visiting me and he used to teach at my studio every year for, I don't know, 12, 14 years. So we went to a party. His friend had a party in Miami, and his friend's father was about 80-some years old, and he was having a lot of problems with his back. So right in the middle of the party, Bikram took me, and we went into the back bedroom with his friend's father, and for over an hour, he's giving him modifications to use to get into the proper positions, but he had to modify because the guy was, one, injured, two, he was in his 80s, and after he finished, I mean, we were there for an hour. After he finished, he said, "Jimmy, you come back every day and you teach him these positions." I said, "Oh, thanks for the assignment. It was wonderful of you."
Thank you so much.
Anyway, the point I'm making is there was nobody better at making modifications than Bikram himself. But here's the warning. Some people, some classes may not want you to do it, so you may want to check with them first. But no more talk. Let's go to the studio with Senior Barkan Teacher and Bikram Teacher Elena and show you modifications for the standing poses. So the first breathing that we do, we call deep breathing or standing deep breathing, pranayama. Feet together, fingers under the chin. Inhale, the chin comes down, the arms come up. Exhale, the head drops back and the elbows come together, shoulders touch. Now I'm going to have Elena relax for a second. What if you can't bring your head back? What if you've got a neck issue? So we're going to start the same way, fingers under the chin. Inhale, the chin comes down, the arms are up, no problem. But on the exhale, you're not going to bring your head back. Exhale, the elbows can still come together, not going to go as high. You just don't bring your head back. That's a perfect modification for standing deep breathing. So for the half moon pose or Ardha Chandrasana, feet together, arms overhead, interlace the fingers, tick-tock left and right, back and forth. So if you're not having an issue, take a deep breath in and over to the side you go. Push your hips out to the left, arms to the right. I'm going to have Elena come back up. Let's say you got a shoulder issue, a neck issue. I'm going to have her relax her arms for a second. You just can't get those arms overhead. You can take your one arm up in the air and then over to the side you go. This is actually very similar to the J.P. Mueller exercise. Do the other side, Elena, while I talk. That inspired Vishnu Ghosh to create this pose in the first place. Take a look at this picture and then come back up. Now, those are to the side. That's Par's Ardha Chandrasana. I'm going to have Elena turn the other direction for the half moon back bend. Arms overhead, interlace the fingers. This is the real half moon. And your head drops, lift the chest up, and reach back behind you. Half moon back bend. Now I'm going to have Elena come up. Let's say you can't do that. You have a neck issue. Keep your arms glued to your ears the whole time. So arms overhead. You would not move your head back. You would just lift the chest, tailbone under, and reach back with your arms glued to the ears. Stay right there. And you have to monitor how far back you can go. Then I have her come up. Good. Now, as a part of half moon pose, we do hands to feet or Padahastasana. So arms overhead. Exhale, she comes down with a flat back, straight legs, hands to the mat. Let's say you're not that flexible. Let's say it's 6 in the morning you're doing a class. Let's say your back is really tight. I'm gonna have Elena come back up again. What you can do, arms overhead, is bend your knees, touch your hands to your thighs, bring one hand to the mat and then the other, and then come up the same way. That's more of an extreme modification. Next on another modification you can do, arms overhead, interlace the fingers. You can come down but bend your knees. And with a nice flat back, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of your lower back. And down you go for Padahastasana. Good. Now, the fingers come under, you can stay down there. The fingers come underneath the heels, the fingers come underneath, the arms come behind, stomach on the thighs, chest to the knees, face into the shins. Let's say you can't do that. Let's say that you have a big belly. First thing you can do, I'm going to have Elena face me for a second. Turn toward me. You can separate your feet a little bit and do Padahastasana that way. And this way you can give a little room, a little space for your belly, if that happens. Fingers underneath. Or, I'm going to have Elena face back again where she was. You can, this is another modification that's extreme. Go ahead down for Padahastasana. What you can do is grab a hold of your elbows behind your knees. Good, and like I mentioned before at my house, some of the Bikram teachers may not like you to do this. One last modification, you can grab a hold of your calf muscles from the back and then do the pose that way. And that's Padahastasana, hands to feet pose, along with half moon. In the Barkan method, we do sun salutation. Bikram doesn't, it's an advanced class. It's really not an advanced sequence though. So arms overhead, she comes down to full position. And once again, you can modify if you need, just like you did in coming down off of half moon pose. Now I'm going to have her step her right leg back. So this is what we call runner's lunge, where the knee's right over the ankle. Sometimes what happens is bring your foot like halfway, Elena, and that left knee comes forward over your toes. You got to make sure that doesn't happen. That's not a modification. But if you can't maintain this position, it's absolutely impossible. Tight hips, whatever, you can drop your right knee to the mat, and that would be the modification for lunge. Good. Now let's go to our plank position, which is we call high plank. What we do is a double chaturanga, which is a double push-up. So normal chaturanga, you would come down and up. But let's say you're not able to do that. You can drop your knees to the mat, still staying on your toes. Don't go on your toes. Yeah, still staying on your toes. And now you can go down and up. That's the modification. Now let's flip back to downward dog. And it's absolutely impossible for you to do this position. First thing, if you're a Bikram person, a lot of times they lock everything out. Don't lock out your arms, soft elbows. Shoulders back away from your ears. And it's okay to bend your knees a little bit. That's another great modification. And here's the last modification for sun salutation. If you can't step your right foot back up, you can drop your left knee to the mat first. And the right, let's say the right foot only comes halfway. You can take your hand on your calf muscle or your ankle and you bring the foot up and then simply straighten the back leg. And those are great modifications for sun salutation. And on the Barkan method, we do Warrior 2 triangle, which Warrior 2 is the setup for triangle, even though Bikram doesn't call it that. We do a little bit early on in the sequence. So arms overhead, big step out to the side, one motion, boom, arms down. Pivot on the right heel, Warrior 2. Now a lot of people aren't going to be able to go that low, but right there. You're going to see that. Look over your fingertips of your right hand. That's really the modification. Eventually you want to work your way down to the thighs parallel, but you're not going to be able to do that at first, but really push into that left foot. That's going to be the key. Now when it's time for triangle, she's going to look over her left shoulder and tilt the triangle. And here's the first modification, forearm on the thigh. Some Bikram teachers aren't going to let you do that. You don't want to just collapse into your forearm. You want to use it as a brace to lift you up. Drop the hip down. That's what, it's a brace to allow that to happen. And if you are doing that modification, just reach your hand down to the top of the foot at the end, just to get those muscles trained to strengthen. Okay, come on up. We're going to have her do the other side, and I'm going to show you a good modification. The second modification for triangle. So down she goes. She looks to the right and tilts. Now she can grab halfway down her calf muscle with her left hand. And she can still push the knee back with the left elbow. That's a really good way of doing that. And that's a really good modification, if they let you do it, for triangle, at least our version of triangle. Now in the Barkan world, we do revolving triangle, not in the Bikram world. So we use a block. She's got a block there at the side of her foot. So she comes down, hands to the block. You can step your foot out a little bit longer than that. So you can go, yeah, right there. So she's going to begin to rotate lower, middle, upper back, shoulder. If it's impossible for you to stack the shoulders, don't go so far. A lot of times people will stick that arm up in the air. I call it the chicken wing. Bring the hand closer to the tapestry wall. They bring it they can't get that shoulder back, so they're trying to get the arm up in the air, but they're stuck there, and all they're doing is torquing the shoulder. The modification is get that hand back on the hip or the lower back, and don't bring the arm up. You have to have the discipline to do that. You only bring the arm up when the shoulders are stacked. Then the arm comes up, we spread the fingers out. Notice the block that she's using. That's going to help her tremendously in this pose. So for our version of awkward pose, first part, you're going to come down. You have to go forward to get lower. But here's something that I do that's a little different in the Bikram world. I don't want you to arch your back to try to get your upper body back. I want you actually to turn your tailbone down in a scoop position, stomach in. So the modification, you're just not going to go down as far. Okay, come on up. Second part, you're going to come up on your toes as high as you can and come down to where eventually the thighs parallel. The modification, you're just not going to be able to go down as far. You're still going to be able to do the position. Okay, come on up. Now the third part can be tricky because you may have a knee issue. If it's not an intense knee issue, what you can do is bring your arms up, bring your knees together, feet apart a little bit. You can touch the hands on the floor slowly. So for the third part, on your toes a little bit, knees together, down she goes, and then she can touch her hands on the floor to help take the pressure off the knees. And once she's down there, one hand up, then the other, body back a little bit. And now she's going to come up the same way, hands to the floor, slowly come up. And that's the modification for third part awkward pose. But if you can't even do that, do the second part again, because that's going to strengthen your quadricep muscles. And that's one of the reasons why you may have a knee issue. We want to strengthen those quadricep muscles. And that's awkward pose. For eagle pose, you may not be able to get your hands together, especially guys, especially if you're super muscular in your shoulders. So you can use a strap or a washcloth. Once again, if the teachers let you, and that's the position you would have, holding the strap or the washcloth, face the other way so they can see it from the side angle. You're still pressing your arms into the rib cage. Now I'm going to have Elena throw the strap away. And now what you can do is, right arm comes under the left arm, you can hold the thumb from the inside. You don't want to hold it from the outside, do it from the outside. If you hold it from the outside, there's nowhere to go. But if you hold it from the inside, eventually you can start working your hands closer to getting them flat. That's the hand position. Now we go to the legs. She's going to bring her right leg over. If you can't get the foot to balance there, then, if you can't get the foot around, then balance there. Bring your foot a little bit away this way. Balance there. Eventually you can start working the foot around behind. And that's the good modification for eagle pose, Garudasana. Now for standing head to knee, if it's impossible for you to hold your foot more than 3 or 4 seconds, you're going to use the wall. If you're doing the right side, she's going to face the other way because she's going to hold her right foot. Her left foot's against the wall, but it's the hip that's against the wall, not the shoulder. So she picks up her right foot. It's not the shoulder, not the left shoulder that's touching the wall, it's the hip. Now she's got the freedom in her arms to kick that leg out, to straighten it. Now when she does the left side, she's going to turn the other way. It's the hip. Very important to understand that, not the shoulder. And the leg kicks out. Now I'm not saying use that wall to help you in this pose. I'm saying if it's impossible, this is an extreme modification, and change. Now a lot of times over the years, people will say hold the knee. Would say I have her hold her right knee. The problem with just holding the knee is that really nothing's happening. I'd rather her come forward a little bit more, bring her hands down below like you did, hold the core and lift the quad and balance there, opposed to holding the knee. This way you're developing strength in your core, and eventually you'll be able to reach down and grab that foot. Okay, relax. Standing bow is the same thing. We would go against the wall. When you're doing the right side, it's their left hip, not the shoulder. Because you have to free the shoulder. So now you're lowering down, she's going to kick back. Look at the freedom she has in the extension. The leg is kicking back, the arm is reaching forward, and now when it's time for her to do the left side, she just changes, turns the other way, and there it is. Modification for standing bow. But make sure it's the hip, just like standing head to knee, not the shoulder that's touching the wall. And change. Come back to the mat. Now, if you have, let's do the left side, pick up the left foot, and it's impossible for you to hold underneath. You can hold the outside of the foot as a modification, but that's only especially if you have really tight shoulders. But otherwise, you want to make sure you do the regular grip. Turn that hand around, palm outward facing. If you're not sure how to hold your foot, check out this video we did a while back. You can see how to hold the foot properly, standing bow. But the modification, once again, grab the outside of the foot, if it's impossible, and then she lowers down and kicks back. There it is, standing bow. Welcome back to my home. We're not finished yet. We're going to go back to the studio, but before that, I wanted to make a side note. Okay, you're doing these modifications, and maybe you're doing great at these modifications and they're working, but every now and then, you got to check in and see if you still need the modifications. For example, I was working with Dan Marino back in the late 1990s. He's recovering from his Achilles tendon surgery, and he couldn't balance on that one foot, on that one leg, so I had him use the wall, just like I had Elena use the wall for standing head to knee and for standing bow. At one point, after a couple weeks of strengthening his muscles, getting him used to the position, getting his legs strong enough to hold his balance, I was able to get him away from the wall, and within a very short period of time, he was now doing standing head to knee and standing bow at the full expression, for him, the full expression. So the point I'm making is check in and see, maybe you need less of a modification after a week or two. Maybe then you don't even need the modification. Use them as a bridge to eventually transcend it so you don't need it anymore. The point is, don't get stuck in the modification. But they are great, especially if you're injured, and definitely if you need them, use these modifications. Let's head back to the studio and finish up our standing poses with Elena. For standing leg stretching, arms overhead, she steps out to the side. Down she goes in a flat back, hands to the floor. Let's say she can't do that. Let's say you're, once again, at 6 in the morning, come on back up, or your back is really tight. You can step out to the side, bend your knees, touch your hands on your thighs, one hand to the floor, then the other. That's how you go down into the position, up the same way. Hands on the thighs. Protect your back, protect the sacrum at all times. But now we're going down to the position. Ideally, we're going to grab a hold of the feet from the outside. But if it's impossible for you to do that, you can hold behind the calf muscles. Or before you even do that, I would rather you go grab your feet again. Let's say you just can't get them. Bring your feet a little closer. Then you get the fingers underneath. And the modification would be bending the knees, but making sure you have the grip, and then slowly begin to straighten your legs. But your fingers are underneath. That's going to give you the leverage that you need to straighten those legs. Separate leg stretching. Now for balancing stick, if you had to use the wall for standing head to knee and had to use the wall for standing bow, I don't want you to use the wall for balancing stick. So arms overhead, interlace the fingers, a balancing staff is the literal translation. Her right leg steps and just come off the floor with, say, a couple inches, a couple centimeters. Come back down again with your foot. Maybe that's as far as you can go and as long as you can hold the position. You're just going to find your balance. This is where you can start working on balance. Don't use the wall. You're just not going to go down as far. Eventually, you're going to go all the way down to create that perfect T shape. And your mantra in this pose is body down and leg up. You see Elena's leg is way too low. You're going to get that leg way up in the air as the body comes down. Yes, perfect. And then come on back. So yeah, don't use the wall for balancing stick. Tree pose. Go a little bit this way. Tree pose. Let's say your knee is in bad shape. Your hips are really, really tight. An extreme modification is take the foot onto the calf muscle as the knee turns out to the side, and then hands to your heart center. The next step up would be the foot to the end of the inside of the thigh, not on the knee. You get a little bit higher inside of the thigh. But again, these are modifications. The next modification is take that foot and hold it from underneath with your left hand. The knee goes out, the hip comes forward, bring one hand to the heart. And the final modification is bend the standing leg a little bit. That gives you a little bit of a shelf. Now bring your hand up, and now the foot will stay there because you've created a little shelf by bending the knee. Once again, if your teacher lets you do it. Change. Now for toe stand, what's the modification? There isn't any. Don't do it. Don't mess up your knees. Bikram used to say, you can mess with the god and goddesses, don't mess with the knees. Don't do the toe stand. Welcome back to my home. Next time you're in class and you may need, let's say you have an injury that affects that particular position, or that you're doing that posture and your injury is stopping you from getting into that pose, try it in class. See if it works. Continue to watch the video over and over to make sure you're doing it correctly. And it's going to make a big difference. Don't forget, next week, stay tuned, we'll be covering all the floor poses. So, as promised, let me tell you where I'm going to be in the next few months. November 7th through the 9th, I'll be in MARLTON, New Jersey at Revive Yoga for a Barkan Hot Yoga, Hot Vinyasa, and 26-2 workshop. I put links in the description below. January 17th, I'll be doing a workshop at Atna Yoga in Delray, Florida. It's a Saturday. I believe it's going to be 11 o'clock. I don't think we've actually got the time down yet, but most likely it's a Saturday, January 17th in Delray, Florida. Then January 23rd to the 25th, I'll be in Albuquerque, New Mexico doing a Barkan Method Vinyasa 26-2 workshop there as well. In February, I'll be doing 2 level 2 teacher training programs. One's at Steamtown Yoga in Scranton, Pennsylvania. The other's in Selfoss, Iceland. Again, I put links in the description below. Check it out. We'd love to have you join us. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell. Any questions or comments or concerns about some posture that you're maybe having difficulty with, put them down below. I'm happy to get back to you. And I'll see you at the next video. Bye, everyone.